Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from deltacx.com. We're a full service CX and UX consultancy, and we also do training. Check us out. And today is our regular Friday stream of Deb reacts to stuff you've sent in. And during the week, people send stuff in to deltacx.link/reaction, and I pile them all together, and if they haven't already been taken down by the time I see them, we react to them here. Hello, Charlene. Happy Friday to you, too. Let's see. What else can I tell you? Oh, yeah, a couple of quick notes. Don't forget that we've got lots of other shows coming up. You can find them at deltacx.link/events. You can always send stuff to the reaction stream/reaction. You can ask questions for the Tuesday live office hours anytime you like at deltacx.link/ask. Of course, there's always my coaching. If you'd like one-on-one coaching, I have a free session if it's your first time, paid session if it's not your first time, deltacx.link/coaching. I do offer portfolio reviews. You have to watch video 54 first and fix your most common mistakes, and then you can have one. deltacx.link/portfolio-review. We are running a giveaway right now. The people at UX Tweak were nice enough to give me 6 1-month free subscriptions to UX Tweak. You'll get 1 month free instead of the usual 5 days free, which I think is a little short. We'll be giving away 6 of those. I did not make any money from this. They offered to give me 6 months free myself, and I said, let's give it to the viewers. So if you'd like to be part of that, put your email in at deltacx.link/giveaway, and we'll pick some winners in October. And they said the codes are good, I think, into February. And then, of course, I have an 8-hour video course on HR, attracting and retaining CX and UX talent aimed at HR recruiters and hiring managers, deltacx.link/HR-training. So I think that covers most of it. Plus, you can subscribe here. So don't forget that. And other than that, I have humidity hair. How about you? So let's flip over to my other universe and get ready for the things that I have been sent. Let's see. This looks good. Let's see if I can press the right button. Should be this one. Yes. Maybe. Good. Okay. So we've got about, I think, 10 things today, so hopefully we won't run late. So first, we've got a Medium article called UX Research Characteristics and Analysis of 100 Open Jobs, and it's from 5 days ago from someone I've never heard of. So it sounds like I kind of skimmed this before, and it looks like they found 100 open UX researcher jobs from all different kinds of companies, looks like mostly well-known names, and then I guess tried to parse them, or I didn't really go through this with a fine-tooth comb, but they were trying to, I guess, do some sort of somewhat quantitative analysis of this. So kind of where were these jobs located? What kinds of adjectives did they use for what kind of person they're looking for? Looks like these were words they expected to see but didn't. Otherwise, why are they here and blank? So that's like a weird data point. I would think the data points would be made of data points, but there you go. Then they were trying to group these, and then they're trying to see what the jobs were called. Mostly they were UX researcher, just with different levels. Mostly they preferred a degree, and I have found that myself, that UX research jobs do tend to prefer a degree, though it's usually not mandatory, but I've seen jobs where it is. You certainly can benefit in the UX world from relevant bachelor's and master's, and I say relevant because my degree in music usually doesn't count. Here's, I guess, where some of the things people are getting those degrees in, and that makes sense. We've talked about this before. This is not news. How many years of experience do they hope you have? It looks like mostly 5+. That makes sense. What does a researcher do? Again, so I'm not too sure what I'm supposed to react to here. It looks like somebody took 100 UX research jobs and try to crunch some things and tell you what they seem to want. And this matches what I tell people, which is if you think you want a job, go reverse engineer existing jobs. Go read the job descriptions, see what kinds of education or years of experience or whatever that they're expecting from you, and then see how you level up to that. So I'm not too sure what to react to here. It seems interesting. Obviously, they've only done 100 jobs when I imagine there are hundreds or thousands of jobs around the world. It seems interesting, but then what do you do from it? So not too sure how many dogs to give it. I can't really complain about this article, but I'm also not too sure what you do after reading it. Doesn't seem totally actionable, so I'll give it 3 dogs. It seems like an interesting read, but I'm not sure what you can do after reading it. So this is a blog post, and there's no date on it. Yeah, there's no date on it, so I can't tell when this is from. And it says, clients from hell, what to do when you're a UX imposter. They're quoting a 2016 tweet, so I'm assuming this blog post could be this old. And it appears to be some guy who was a co-author of a book some years ago talking about a client experience that went badly. It sounds like they either didn't design the right thing, or maybe they designed the right thing and the executives didn't like it, and that made the executives freak out at them. So, it's a tough story, happens with some frequency, I think, in UX. Very often people look at our designs and decide they like something better, whether or not it matched the data that we have. And this person is for some reason equating this to imposter syndrome. That experience doesn't have to give you imposter syndrome, especially if you're linking everybody to your book on UX so you can sell some books. You don't sound like you think you're an imposter. It just sounds like you're, struggling with a project that went badly. So to me, this wasn't even about imposter syndrome. This was about a guy having a difficult experience with a client and finding a way to plug his book over it. Most of the people that I've seen with imposter syndrome, first of all, don't have a book to plug, and second of all, it usually comes from a bad manager. It doesn't come from a client not liking the design. Most of us are resilient enough where if the people don't like the design or whatever, we have our own ways of dealing with that. So no, I really wasn't feeling this article. If you read it and it helped you in some way, that's great. But, and I'll always stay away from universals. All, none. Better to stick with the existentials, one, maybe not even one, some, many, most. We can't say all successful professionals feel like imposters, because then we set ourselves up for, well, if I've never felt like an imposter, does that mean I'm not successful? I'm not professional? I don't like the 9th grade logic on this one. So always be careful when I'm going to say always, be careful when you use always and all and none, because you want to make sure that your logic holds up. I don't think it does here. So I wasn't really feeling this article. I'm going to give it 2 dogs. I was worried it was just a little bit clickbaity to throw imposter syndrome out there and, and do one of those typical formulaic, here's a terrible thing that happened to me, but then look what happened next. But we really don't even learn what happened with this. It just sounds like, he says, how did we mess up so badly? And we don't actually find out. He just says in the future, he's tried to QA his work more. But I don't even know what went wrong there. Was it just that they didn't like it, or that they really genuinely did poor work, or I don't even know. So the article was a little disjointed because he kind of rushed away from the story he was telling to plug the book. So not my thing. All right, next. This was a Reddit post that got sent to me, and it looks like the post was deleted, and the only thing that is left is the headline or title. Hi, Krishna and Madalena. So the post is gone, but the title still is here. What's your UX exit plan? And people are responding to what the person wrote, but I don't know what the person wrote. So in general, if UX is something that doesn't feel right for you, or you no longer enjoy the work or the jobs, or you're having too much conflict and you don't like it, or you're not doing work that matches the work you want to do, then either you have to shift where you're working and how you're working, or some people choose to leave UX altogether. I do not have a UX exit plan. So if the question here is, does Deb have one? The answer is no. I do not have the plan of what I'm going to do after UX. To me, there is no after UX. It's going to be UX and CX for me, for probably decades. So I'm not too sure what somebody wanted me to react to. And certainly if you're leaving UX, there are many directions you can go. I see a lot of people shifting towards being psychologists or psychotherapists or talk therapists because they want to help people and they feel like that will be a more direct way to do it than good design. I see some people leaving to be more of the professor, instructor, teacher type of person, sometimes in UX and sometimes not. But to me, whatever you do is your path. And I'm here to support your path, even if your path takes you away from UX. You're still welcome to be part of the community. And I think it's important to find out when a direction you were going isn't the right direction. I mean, I went through that when I was in university. When I was 19, I wanted to get into, I wanted to be a genetic lab researcher. And I had directed all of my courses and summer jobs towards that. And then one day was like, this isn't for me. And that was messy, but I'm glad that I did that because it helped me go in another direction. So I'm always, it's sad and frustrating when you have to drop something you thought you wanted to do, but it's usually because another door is opening. So, good for that. Okay, so now we've got two back-to-back that have some similarity, and I paused this video here. So someone sent me this video from this VA experience guy who I'm not subscribed to, and I don't really follow, but I have seen him here before. And it says, knowing when to quit in UX. So you can see there's a little bit of a theme here. So whoever sent this to me, if you want to talk privately, sign up for the coaching or find me in Slack. I'm happy to help. For those of you not in our Slack, it's completely free, and it's the deltacx community of low ego action heroes, and you can join it at deltacx.link/join Slack. So without going through this guy's 7-minute video, I just paused it here because basically what he's talking about is he found a book and he said the book shows kind of 3 different models of what can happen kind of when you're in the middle of something. So basically things can be, there can be kind of a dip where it looks like things are going wrong, but then you get the hockey stick and then things end up going well, and it's the thing you should stick with because it's a little bit of a mess now, but it's going to work out. There's what the book calls the cul-de-sac, where it just seems to be kind of stagnant and neutral and never really gets better or worse. So it's a little bit stagnant there. You're a little bit stuck. And then there's the cliff, where something seems to be going okay or actually seems to be improving. And then there's a bit of a drop off where it's kind of a disaster. And hypothetically, you would want to be leaving before the cliff or as you start falling down the cliff. But long story short, even though he goes into this model, and I wasn't too sure why he went into this model, what I found wrong with this model is you never know where you are on any of these models. If you're going through something frustrating right now and you look at these 3 models, can you tell which model you're in and which point you're on in the graph? I can't. I have no idea. I have no idea for myself, and I have no idea for you. And so I think the problem with this is that these graphs and models look good, but they seem very hindsight focused. Like, oh yeah, in hindsight, you know what? Like take the job I was just at, which the Slack channel knows that contract was terminated early due to budgeting problems. That ended up being the cliff. Otherwise, it looked to me like the dip. It looked to me like the dip, like, things are going well. There was a little bit of a problem there, but then it's going to go great. And I thought that I was at the dip. Turned out I was at the cliff. And there's no way for me to predict this. I can look at these with hindsight. Madalena says, I watched this guy before. Some things he said are quite decent. Yeah, I don't hear too many bad things about this guy. So, he might be an okay YouTuber to check out. I haven't really checked him out. So y'all tell me. But again, my problem with this or this type of approach to should I continue with something or should I not continue with something, is you just don't know where you are in that model, and you don't know what point you're at in any of these graphs. You don't know which graph you're on or which point you're at. So what I would tell people, again, if they are wondering if they should quit UX or stop trying to get that first job, or whatever it might be, is I think you just have to make a pros and cons list for yourself. If you do leave UX, you can come back. It's not like if you quit UX, nobody lets you back in. You'll say, oh, okay, I went and tried this other thing for a few years and then I came back. Everyone goes, great, welcome back. So, quitting UX is not technically risky. We are going to let you back in. Clowder says, I've read this book. It's a very short read called The Dip. Right. I personally found it quite a bad and privileged read. Not all folks can just drop a client or job just like that. That's a good point too. Thank you, Clowder. Good to see you here. And in our Slack channel. Yeah, so again, that's something that I've been saying to people even more lately. But many people write to me privately or ask in office hours or ask in Slack, hey, I think I'm going to quit my job and do a boot camp because I'm going to get a UX job after the boot camp. And I say, please don't quit your job. If you want to go to a UX boot camp, I'll try to stop you. But if you go anyway, please don't quit a good job. I'm telling people right now, because it can take 1 or 2 years, probably on average, to get a UX job. Don't quit a good job, because I can't promise you when you're going to get a job, and your boot camp might be lying to you about when you're going to get a job. And that's a very privileged thing to say, yeah, just quit your job and live off family or savings, until the next thing happens. If you can do that, great. But otherwise, I'm telling people, don't quit your job. So again, I don't think this makes a lot of sense because you don't know which graph you're on or what point you're at. So there, done and dusted. All right, this is another UX Collective article because, god damn it, they will publish anything. This says contemporary design has lost its soul. This is a guy I've never heard of, so if you know him, shout out. But it basically says our products are less beautiful and unique. Now, when I think about what's going wrong with the crappy apps and websites and systems that we're all stuck with day to day, I rarely think that they're not beautiful enough. That's definitely not my complaint, but then again, I am function over form. I am utility over beauty, but I rarely think they're not pretty enough, and I rarely think, what's wrong with this app? It's just not fucking unique enough. Where's the uniqueness? Where's the innovation? These are things we say internally at our company. We want to disrupt. We should be more innovative. But I think it would be extremely rare, and this is just a hypothesis, that our users or customers go, I kind of like this system, but it's not unique enough. Said no one ever. So I'm worried that I don't, connect to his premise. Hi, Stephanie. So let's take a look. Simply bland. Everything's bland. Everything looks the same. Well, again, a lot of people copied Apple. I remember people copying Apple's website 10 years ago. I used to do that at conferences, and that's a longer story. So tell me when you want story time. Yeah, if this person's point is going to be that websites are bland, I'm a little surprised. Oh, no, what's this? Oh, this is a different article. I'm a little surprised because I feel like lately websites have jumped the shark a little bit. Like, is a Stripe homepage still a Technicolor LSD dream? A little bit. Okay, they toned it down a little bit, but look at this. It's got this, it's like when you used to go to the movie theaters and the movie hadn't started yet and they would just have like oil on a rotating tray and it was this psychedelic thing. So, is this bland? I don't know. I find it a little bit over the top. And then it gets kind of normal, though I'm not too sure why the dotted lines have made columns. They don't match the grid layout, so I don't know what the dotted lines are for. So I don't think that websites are bland, and I don't think that customers' biggest complaints about our products are that they aren't beautiful and unique enough. So chances are I disagree with this person, and no dogs for you. Stephanie says, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's so subjective. Yeah, I would agree with that too. Many people who like minimalism and white on white and on white and shades of gray on gray on gray love these sites. So there you go. All right, this was a Reddit post from Recruiting Hell, and it says, I disclosed my ADHD in an interview, and this is the feedback I got. They won't be taking you to the second round. They were positive about your outlook and obvious skills, but our reservation is the cultural fit within the small team, being larger than life and rather boisterous. I will let you know when I get other relevant positions. I imagine you'll be snapped up very soon. So Charlene says, hey, it depends on the content. Yeah, true. So basically, this ends up being a conversation among a lot of people saying, do not disclose your ADHD to people in interviews. And I think that's a personal choice. I probably wouldn't say disclose it or don't disclose it. That's really up to you. But when I skimmed this earlier, I noticed this person's reply. And I thought this person's reply was really interesting because they work in HR. And they said, unless you are asking for an accommodation under any particular, assuming you're in America, American law around disabilities or conditions or accommodations, do not disclose medical information to your employer. It's none of their business, and they should have stopped you when you did disclose it. So I think that's an interesting message from the HR person. And then this person says, I disagree. I don't want to work at a company that won't accept me for who I am. So we've heard both sides of it, and that's why I think it's a bit of a personal choice. I see both sides of it. I am afraid that that people will discriminate when you do disclose it, and I do think that cultural fit is usually bullshit and a reason to exclude people who might be diverse or different or in some way or same in some way or whatever it is. I mean, to me, there's, ADHD is quite common now. So I don't even think, to me, that's normal. So I don't have ADHD, but I know a squillion people who do. And so to me, it's a normal part of my life and my coworkers and my friendship circles. And it's a regular everyday thing for many of you. So I think it's up to you whether you think you want to disclose that. But I also do agree that you are certainly under no obligation to disclose that. You can also choose to disclose it later in the interview process. If you make it past the first few rounds and nobody knows you have cancer or ADHD or something else or autism or partial blindness or whatever, you can always tell them later and see if that magically makes them reject you. And then, of course, you can take that as it comes. Darren says, disclosing a disability should happen during the application process. Beyond that, it's best not to disclose that. So again, as you can see, there are different opinions about it. I am not qualified to say one of these is right or wrong. I am not an expert in accessibility from the perspective of legal issues. I'm pretty good at website accessibility, but I really don't know about the ADA or legal issues around disclosing disabilities. But to me, it sounds like something you would disclose before you accept the job, but where in the interview, especially if you are going to ask for an accommodation or some understanding or some extra time off or later start to your morning, things like that, which you certainly can ask for that. So I think that I would probably disclose these things at some point in the process, but where is up to you. And I know many application forms from America ask if you have a disability or not, and usually you can say yes or no or prefer not to answer. So I think this is something that's just very personal, but I would imagine it might be something you're disclosing before you're accepting the job. All right, this is something called UX Hustle, and we know right away that it's really good at UX because it keeps popping up this thing to get on the mailing list. This was sent to me, of course, anonymously, and it looks like it's a UX career conference. Now, many of you are going to immediately think like, oh my God, I should sign up for it. It's a UX career conference, and it claims to be the only one. And I say, hold on. Walk, don't run. Because when this was sent to me, it was sent to me because of who some of the speakers are. And some of the speakers are frequent visitors to the reaction stream. That's right, you guessed it, y'all. It's Jared Spool, Boo. I don't have a boo sound. Where's Darren? Boo to Darren. No, not boo to Darren. We love Darren. Boo to Jared Spool. Boo to Joe Natoli, who is a frequent guest on the reaction stream because of the strange things he posts. And of course, Havana and Jasmine just spoke at my Concentric conference. So, gosh, well, I'm glad that they were selected. They're super people, but gosh, that looks familiar. Yeah, Darren says use of only was a sign that something is terribly wrong. Yeah, again, we were just talking before Darren joined. Be careful when you use universals. All, never, always, none, only. You know, are you sure? Chances are you're not the only one. But, you know, if you are, congratulations for as long as that lasts. And what I noticed was that the conference seems to be run by Amanda and Sophia. And Amanda and Sophia, I guess we've bumped into them a couple of times on LinkedIn, though I'm not connected to them. And they are pushing object-oriented UX, which someone tried to push on me in like 2017, maybe 2016. So I've been hearing OOUX for a long time, and I tend to see it as just rebranded information architecture. And I also feel that information architecture didn't need a rebranding. So I am not for object-oriented UX. But when I looked at the schedule, it was like a little bit awkward. You know, and it's funny, if you lined up all the titles of Jared Spool's talks, there are so many times that he uses like typical old school advertising agency tactics, like secrets nobody will tell you, and things nobody will tell you, and the things nobody else knows about. And again, it's these universals that I wouldn't say. So yeah, the critical UX skills nobody tells you about. Really? I've got 450 hours of video on YouTube and I've never told you about these things? I don't know what he's going to say, but there's a possibility I've told you. Workshopping with object-oriented UX. This wins for buzzwords. I don't have a graphic for buzzwords. I made some new graphics the last few days. None of them say buzzword bingo, you win. I did notice that if you sponsor this, you get speaking slots. So that was interesting. Darren saying, he's saying nobody, and that's a sign something's terribly wrong. Parum-pum. I think that's a little drum thing. Becoming a design leader, and etc. Oh, Stephanie says, do we get a refund if we heard of the secrets? Asking for a secret friend. Oh my God, I love that. And who's the sponsors? Why, it's Jared Spool is the sponsor. So, you know, and General Assembly. So will these people give you good information? I don't know. We know some of those speakers are good. We just had them at Concentric. But what about the other messages? I don't know. And the whole thing is a little strange to me. But seeing Jared and Joe on the same bill, I think, was too much for the person who sent this in, and they were having a little bit of a Sanford and Son Elizabeth moment, if anybody is as old as I am. Jamie says, pay to play model. Yeah, hi, Jamie. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. This is, in case you're new to my show, this is every Friday. I do Deb reacts to stuff you've sent in. You can send it in to deltacx.link/reaction. I don't grab them live on the air. I grab all the ones that came in before the show and I show them. So if you send one in now, I'm going to do it next Friday, but I will do it if nobody takes it down. All right, we've got 3 more today, and they're a little bit on the long side, but let's give it a go. So this is a LinkedIn post from Bobby Bishop. Oh, Clouder says, I sense someone didn't Google hustle before naming this thing. You know, I'm old enough to remember the 1970s dance The Hustle, so whenever I hear hustle, I just kind of get flute music, flute disco in my head. Anybody else old enough to remember Do the Hustle? So let's talk about Bobby Bishop. Now, I'm not connected to Bobby on LinkedIn, but he is a low ego action hero in our Slack workspace. So if Bobby, if you're watching, I don't know who sent this in, and I hope you don't mind us talking about it. So Bobby posted about a week ago to LinkedIn, and in short, he is concerned about his student loan debt, and he has a bachelor's in psychology. He did a UX boot camp with Springboard, and that he struggles with mental health, and that threw off some of his education process and made his school debt skyrocket. And now he's trying to find that job. And should he put having been in therapy for 10 years on his resume? My advice is that I probably wouldn't put the amount of time you've been in therapy unless you think that's relevant to your job. So for example, if you are only looking for jobs that are in healthcare and medical relating to mental health, that might be an interesting aspect of yourself that adds dimension to who you are, that you could put on a resume aimed at those people. So to me, things on the resume have to speak to the people who are seeing that resume. If you are trying to get a job at an e-commerce site selling socks, they probably won't care. They hopefully won't care that you've been in therapy for 10 years. I certainly support you, but I'm not sure that I would put that on the resume unless I thought it was relevant to a career path I'm on or a job I'm interested in. Anybody else in the live chat have a reaction or thought about this? I know y'all are about 20 seconds or so behind me, but and then of course, everybody look up Bobby and see if you've got a job that matches him. Okay. I didn't lose my microphone, did I? Because my screen just went black, but then it came back on. Microphone working today? Yes? Okay, let me know if it's not. See, I'm on the internet. I am alive. Lights are on. Power UPS is not beeping. I think I'm live. Does it still say streaming? It says streaming. All right, moving on. Again, everybody go check out Bobby on LinkedIn and look at his background and see if you've got a job for him. He's got a bachelor's in psychology from Georgia Tech, which I hear is a very respected school. Thank you, Jamie. So first of all, help find this guy a job. He's only got 650 connections on LinkedIn, so he hasn't really been using LinkedIn as much as he could have. He's just starting to get his momentum, and let's see what we can do for him out there. It sounds like he's and then he's looking for a job. Can we help him, please? Can we take a village? Can it be a village here? Can we find him a job? So pass his name around, and you can also see if he's got other posts that you can comment on. Remember, in the LinkedIn algorithm, there's nothing as strong as commenting. I found that commenting gets things out even more than sharing. So if you really want to push a post out there, and it might not be this one of his, you want to comment. I don't know if I click on it, if I can click on him, if it'll give me some of his other posts or information. But oh, Bob Big Wheels. I wonder if that's Bob. Bob, I don't know if you submitted this, if you were the anonymous submitter of your thing, but I hope that helps. If you have any follow-up questions, I'm here, and we're all here for you. And again, everybody check out Bobby, and don't forget that all of these sessions are archived on the reaction playlist on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe. I moved all my buttons around. Please subscribe on the YouTube channel, and tell 3 people, won't you? Because I'm live 4 times a week, helping everybody with advice and comedy and learning and interviews. Don't forget, next week we're going to learn all about crypto and NFTs, and I'm so excited because I can't figure them out. So we've got lots of cool stuff coming. And this is free. So, the tip jar and the super chat and other things are optional. I don't do this for the money. All right, Bobby, good luck and keep us posted. We're happy to have you in the Slack workspace, and let me know if you have any other questions. Okay, so this one's a bit hard. This one was, this is a 48-second TikTok, which someone was nice enough to download and send to me as an MP4 because they know I don't have TikTok. Now, I also don't have my browser hooked directly into my software. So hold on, let me press a couple of buttons because this is coming back into my headset. Shouldn't be. Does that help? No. Boo, I'm in my own headset. This is going to be bad. All right, well, let's try this anyway. I'm going to try to play this, and I'm going to try to do UN translator and tell you what she's saying as she says it, because you're probably not going to hear it because it's going to be in my headset. I firmly believe that unless you are in a job that saves lives every day or landing a rocket on the moon, your performance is morally neutral. Being the very best at your job isn't important. As a person, as a human, you are more than what you do for a living. The moment I adopted this mentality that it was okay to not be perfect, and that I didn't have to get a glowing performance review every time, I actually became a better worker because I got out of my own head and I got out of my own way. I often wonder if I missed the last thing she said. I often wonder if being overengaged with work is why we struggle with work. I haven't done enough research to back that up, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. And remember, you are so much more than what you do. UN translator, y'all. All right. So that's roughly what she said. I did my best to recreate it, though I know that was a little bit awkward, but I hope everybody could hear me okay. Hi? Oh, no, I'm still on this screen. This is a fun screen. All right, back on this screen. Okay, so what do I think about what she said? I tend to think a little bit clickbaity. Now, of course, it's TikTok, so once you've clicked, there you go. You know, I think you are so much more than what you do, which she said with this great, compassion voice acting thing that we learned in voice acting school. It's certainly true. You are more than what you do. But I didn't totally agree with what she said at the beginning. Let me roll that back and let me hear that once more just to make sure I'm commenting on the right thing. Unless you're in a job that saves lives every day or you're landing a rocket on the moon, your performance is morally neutral. Being the best at your job isn't important. As a human, you're so much more than what you do for a living. The moment I adopted this mentality that it was okay to not be perfect all the time and that I didn't have to get a glowing performance review on everything I did, I became a better worker because I got out of my own head. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. In many cases, your promotion and your salary is tied to your performance review. So I think it is going to be important to get good performance reviews. I definitely don't want to support something that says, hey, don't worry about getting bad performance reviews at your job. Bad performance reviews can lead to people being fired, being disciplined, being put on performance improvement programs. They can block your way to a promotion or leadership or salary. So I'm not sure I agree with her in saying that don't worry so much about performance reviews. And whenever people say, get out of your own head, I don't have a graphic for this yet, but I always talk about, oh, yes, I do. Kids, let's roll out this one. What do I do? How is that actionable? Hey, Charlene, get out of your own head. Hey, Darren, get out of your own head. Jamie, Bob, Stephanie. Hey, get out of your own head. What is that? What does it look like to be in your own head? And how do I get out of it? It reminds me of, here's story time. Where's Kayleen? She likes story time. I want to tell a quick story about from when I was a teenager. We had one of those next door neighbors that were the kind of people who just wanted to yell all the time and be really loud and annoying. And no matter what they were saying to each other, it just had to be shouted at the top of their lungs. And they also weren't the brightest people I knew. And I remember one time, so the guy next door was my age, and his name was Bobby, no relation to Bobby B. His name was Bobby, and his mother was shouting at him, Bobby, have you seen the rake? And he yells back, no, does it look like I've seen the rake? And I remember, oh, good, Kayleen is here. And that became a catchphrase for the rest of my life. I must have heard him say that over 40 years ago. And what always rings in my head is, does it look like I've seen the rake? So get out of your head. Does it look like I'm in my head? Like, what does that look like? How do you know? I'm always worried about things that I feel like aren't actionable and aren't like, what do I do? So I think that this is one of those things that sounds inspirational, but then I'm not too sure what to do. And I don't want to give people advice to not care about their performance at work. I just don't want to give anybody that advice. Anybody have any thoughts or questions on this one before I move on? Kayleen says, I haven't seen the rake. Yeah, but does it look like you've seen the rake? That's the question. If only we had Elijah here to share something philosophical about whether or not you've seen the rake. Yeah, anybody have any thoughts on this one? I hope I did an okay job relaying what this woman was saying. I sometimes wonder if I would have a lot more YouTube subscribers or followers if I were still that age, because I was that weight at that age. And yeah, I remember what it was like to be young and thin and pretty. All right, moving on. This one came in late today, and it is weird. It's a website called, Kayleen says, I think she's saying that many jobs aren't life or death. Many jobs aren't life or death, but I would still want to do well at my job. Bob says, being a hitman is morally neutral. Only if you're good at it. So this one was sent in late today, and it's a little bit weird, and I can see why someone sent it in, because at first I was like, no, this makes sense. Why did someone send this in? And then it was like, oh, what is happening here? So this is from VMware, and this is called Digital Marketing Operations Program Manager. Now, when I see program manager, I tend to think about flavors of Agile that use like portfolio and program. And so program is kind of like a oversight of a number of projects or domains. So I was thinking, okay, program manager, is this like an Agile thing? And it says, the Digital Marketing Operations Program Manager will be responsible for the daily operational processes and execution procedures that support the company's digital marketing programs and campaigns. Okay, so it's just basically marketing manager. Okay, drive executional planning in support of marketing campaigns. Yes, sounds totally like marketing manager. And then this is where I think it got off the rails and probably why someone sent it to me. Align cross-functional teams during requirement reviews, t-shirt sizing, solution design collaboration, UX UI reviews, and project planning. Now it sounds like this person is in charge of absolutely everything happening in the product and UX domain and engineering. Because requirement reviews would be BAs, product managers, product owners. T-shirt sizing would be engineering teams estimating the time they need to do certain stories or features. Solution design collaboration sounds like shitty workshops to me. UX UI reviews sounds like the internal QA process we have for improving our own work. And project planning. Now, so that got really weird really fast. And then it goes back to digital marketing capabilities, but then they also want you to be a project manager. So yeah, this got really weird really fast. And I think, this is, definitely a job where you're just going to do a little bit of everything. It's going to be what I call a moving target job, where you're never doing the right thing, because if you're working on that UX review, you should have been looking at SEO. And if you're looking at SEO, well, gosh, you should have been planning the campaigns. Charlene says, I have a very weird story when I applied for VMware. Sounds like we'll have to have you on the show for story time. So yeah, there was a lot of weird things here. Act as a customer experience and brand champion by having familiarity with common UX UI, word missing, accessibility, brand guidelines, style guides, privacy compliance standards, Flagging issues for resolution before they go to market. Yeah, this seems like I'm not that familiar with jobs that are called program manager. Let's face it. But this one just seems very strange. Larry says they're obviously looking for a truly confused unicorn. I think so. Bob says literal sizing of t-shirts. Yeah, that would make sense, except I happen to know t-shirt sizing is a way that engineers estimate their work. I like to joke that engineers estimate their work in fractals. Oh, you're going to love this. You're going to be writing HTML and CSS. Do I have an appropriate graphic for this? Where's my graphic for this? What should I even put up, guys? Maybe the fire? I don't even know what to put here. I need like a nuclear bomb graphic because this is just banana pants crazy. You know, like this part makes sense. You should have lots of experience with marketing related things. And then there's just like strategic thinker who can build processes. Yes. Larry Marine's putting up the poop emoji. I hope it's sailing around the screen thanks to my overlay. So this was the last one for today, and it is extremely strange. What I tend to find happens in jobs like this is one of two things. They either settle for someone who's got some of these, or somebody goes and finds this hiring manager, knocks on their head a little bit, and they split this up into a couple of jobs. So it's definitely an unknown. All right, heading back to Big Giant Me. Stephanie says, I love how they just put Adobe. Like, we have no idea what it's. It just said Adobe. Oh, you're right. It says prior experience with Adobe, Oracle. Oh, no, it's Marketing Clouds. Adobe, Oracle, or SFDC Marketing Cloud. What is SFDC? Sounds like what used to be my credit union. Oh, Salesforce. So they want you to know Adobe, Oracle, or Salesforce. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Wow, that was overwhelming emotionally. Maggie says the new question reaction gives me Riddler from Batman vibes. Thank you. That's part of why I got it. I was like, I want like question marks exploding on the screens. What is this? Yeah, that's how I felt about that. That was ugly. So remember, we'll be doing this all again next week. Let me see what's coming up. And let's shout out a couple of shows that are coming up next week so you can mark your calendars. Though please remember, you can always go to deltacx.link/events to see what I've got on the calendar. And please sign up for the giveaway. In a few weeks, I will be drawing 6 people to each win 1 month to UX Tweak. This is not sponsored. UX Tweak offered me 6 months free. And I said, no, I'm not sponsored. Please make me 6 1-month codes and I will give them out on the show. So thanks to UX Tweak for giving us some free codes so you can check them out. I tried them out recently and I had a mostly good experience with them. So that's, you know, they certainly didn't pay for me to say that. Next Monday, we're going to have another one of our super cool panel discussions on what is UX work really like day to day. Of course, that's aimed a little bit more at our newbies and boot campers and learners who can't tell what's what. And a lot of YouTube videos make it seem really glamorous. So we're going to have Maggie and Nick Morgan and Shannon, who've all been guests on the show before. So thanks for coming on and talking about working in UX. Tuesday, of course, is Office Hours Ask Me Anything, which is always at 6:30 Italy time. Adjust for where you are, please. Wednesday, the 29th, as I mentioned, super excited to welcome Bettina to the show. She's going to talk about crypto and NFTs because I don't get them. Let's see, no stream on Thursdays usually. Friday, October 1st. Can you believe it is almost October? Friday, October 1st, of course, Reaction Stream. Reaction Stream is every Friday and Office Hours is every Tuesday. Let's see. Monday the 4th, we're going to welcome Sophie Fryermuth to the show, who I've known for a couple of years, and I just think the world of her, and she hasn't been on the show yet, so I'm super excited. She's going to talk about the hidden product and project management in UX and where they kind of overlap. Maggie says, ooh, spooky season is here. Yeah, when isn't it spooky season when you work in UX? Wednesday the 6th is a micro lesson that I've put together semi at the request of Charlene, which I like to call customer journey map disasters. But it's not when customer journey maps go wrong. It's how to journey map a disastrous possible outcome for a future state and use that to fix some problems in your project. And let's see, what else do we have? Monday the 11th, I'll be live reading my new article about being feature-oriented versus task-oriented. You'll never believe that it ties into all of the task stuff Larry and I have been talking about. Larry says, do you want to suggest knowledge design? Larry and I are going to do another show together, but we haven't booked a date for it, but he's evidently so excited that he has to tell you that it's coming, but we don't have a date for it yet. Larry, I will message you after this with some open dates in October. Looking at October, October is open. Larry, you can have Monday, October 18th. And then you have to decide if it's a micro lesson or if it's a podcast episode where I'm interviewing you. I know you said it was kind of both, but you're going to have to pick one. Am I putting a number on it or am I putting it in the micro lessons playlist? Come on, Larry. So yeah. And then I am probably going to take off the rest of that week, the 19th, 20th, 21, 22 of October, because I signed up for a course. And the course is nighttime, my time. It starts at 6:45 p.m. every day, so I certainly can't do a show at 6:30. So we're going to miss some shows that week, including office hours and reaction stream. Yeah, but we'll have early office hours on the 19th. Kayleen says, Larry is the micro lessons man to me. So Larry and I will work that out. We'll get him on the calendar. You'll find it in deltacx.link/events. Also, I just scheduled, just like I did last December, I just scheduled a highly discounted 2-day live Acture core skills workshop. I do not have a short link for that yet, but if you are in our Slack channel, which is completely free, deltacx.link/join Slack, you can find the link to sign up for the Acture course in the live events channel. It's my 2-day core skills class, which will take you from being a total noob to a confident intermediate, and I'm charging $75 American for 2 full days. Kayleen said, Larry says, micro lesson with audience participation? Larry, only if it goes better than last time. Kayleen says, ooh, more education. But you just finished an MBA. The MBA looks good on your LinkedIn name. Thank you, Kayleen. No, this is just a little 4-day certificate course. So it's just 4 days, 6 hours a day, and then you get a little certificate of completion. So I'm going to do that. Kayleen says, is the Acture workshop meant for someone like me? I don't know, Kayleen. Does someone like you want to learn Acture? I think anybody who wants to do UX design, Acture is important to learn. Many people are using Figma, but when it comes to a realistic prototype, nothing beats Acture right now. With Figma, you can make a click-through model. You click here, you see this screen, you see this screen. But if you want people to interact with your model more realistically, Acture is the way to go. So I do recommend Acture very highly for anybody who is going to do prototyping. If you just want to do research and you plan to never prototype anything, then you don't have to learn Acture. But if you're a researcher and you hope someday to do some prototyping for things you might test, you might want to learn Acture. So, Kayleen says, I want to. I wasn't sure if it was meant. Why wouldn't it be meant for you? I mean, just because it doesn't say, dear Kayleen, please sign up for my Acture course, it's certainly for you. Stephanie says, I did the beginner course and it saved me so much time. Okay, Stephanie, were you in my course last December? Was that the one you did? I'm doing the same one. Charlene says, will we get certificates? Yes, you get a certificate of completion if you show up both days. If you don't show up, I'm not giving you a certificate of completion because I'm about quality and standards. Boop, bop, beep. All right. Other than that, in an hour and a half is the Village Festival in the village I live in, and we are going to go see traditional local singing, which I'm very excited about because I don't know, was there even a Village Festival last year, or was it canceled from the pandemic? I don't think there was one, but we went 2 years ago. And so I'm excited to go back and hear the traditional singing. It's really interesting musically. Hands up, musicologists. From a music theory perspective, it's really interesting. Let's see. Oh, Stephanie says, I can totally write you a LinkedIn review. Yes, well, please, will someone please write me some LinkedIn recommendations? I know that sounds weird for me to just say that out loud and blurt it out, but you're welcome to write me LinkedIn recommendations if you're excited about me. I am on the job hunt again, and I'm happy to have good LinkedIn recommendations from people who have something nice to say about me. So, yes, please. Yeah, I only write them for people I've worked with. So if I don't write one back to you, please don't take it personally. We have to have worked together. Otherwise, yes, you're welcome to write one for me. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up, and everyone have a super safe weekend. Please wear 4 masks with 3 extra filters, and I know I will tonight. And let's see, I'll see everybody again Monday for our big panel discussion on realities of UX work. Thanks to everybody on YouTube and LinkedIn for dropping by live, and I will see y'all very soon. Thanks again. Customer centricity as business intelligence. Visit deltacx.com to learn why we are